Hello, fellow investors, and welcome back to Borex Investing. So, for today's video, I wanted to give a quick update on the current macro environment and what's actually driving this market right now, because it matters more than ever for AI names like Nebius as we head into the new year. Also, stick around after that. I will be providing the latest updates on Nebius that you might have missed, including some updated price targets and some new things we learned about the token factory and their customer mix straight from CBO Roman Chernin. All right, let's get to it. So, we're in a period right now where macro headlines are dominating the micro. And it doesn't matter how good your earnings were, if the broader market sentiment turns risk off, your stocks will drop. And we saw this clearly with the Q3 earnings. Nebius had record ARR forecast, massive deals, insane growth, and the stock still got hit. Nvidia had record revenue, the strongest GPU demand in history, and it still sold off. And Palantir showed amazing profitability, a rule of 40 score above 110, government and commercial contract growth, and it still dropped because market sentiment flipped bearish on AI names. Right now, we're seeing the AI names move together. If Palantir goes up, Nvidia goes up. And with the data center plays, it's something similar. This last week, Iran announced dilution and it caused all the data center plays to drop, similar to when CoreWeave caused a sector dump because of their debt. Now, these pieces of information don't necessarily affect Nebius, but it drops anytime there's negative sector news related to the other data center plays. So this is just the short-term reality of the current market. But we had two macro events last week that will change things. So first off, as of December 1st, the Fed has officially ended quantitative tightening and immediately injected 13.5 billion via overnight repo operations. So essentially, this was a move that turned on the money printer. And if that wasn't enough, we had Trump pretty much all but confirm that the next Fed chairman would be Kevin Hassett. Online wagering platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket now assign roughly 75 to 85% odds that Hassett will get the job. So it's important to note that Kevin Hassett is a Trump insider who previously chaired the Council of Economic Advisors. He now runs the National Economic Council and plays a central role in shaping tariffs, tax policy, and growth strategy while really regularly defending Trump's agenda on TV. His background is strongly focused on pro growth tax policy rather than monetary policy. So he's also viewed as very crypto friendly with a sizable Coinbase stake. And some economists are questioning whether that mix of loyalties and interests makes him a good fit to lead the Fed. If he is bullish on Bitcoin, we know how he feels about risk. This is going to be a very risk on market, bullish for AI names, in my opinion. And I think in the near term, the AI boom trade will really have a huge impact on the entire market. So we obviously know by now that the AI boom is creating a massive surge in data center construction across the US and globally. And according to the Wall Street Journal, workers moving into data center projects are earning 25 to 30% more pay. So the Wall Street Journal claims that the construction industry is short over 439,000 skilled workers. So companies are really throwing money, bonuses, perks, and benefits at workers just to staff these builds. So the fact that so much is being thrown right now to build these data centers is bullish for me. I think it lowers execution risk for a company like Nebius since so much importance is being invested right now into the data centers. So I think this could lead to a melt up when combined with the incoming rate cuts. So really, this is the closest thing we've had to a mini industrial revolution. Think about it. New buildings, new jobs, new investment cycles, massive capital deployment, long-term economic effects. It's really an economic engine, this entire AI trade. And now liquidity has just flipped direction. So QT ending means the liquidity drain is over. So historically, when QT ends and liquidity returns, we see long yields ease, we see risk appetite improve, we see growth stocks re-rate, and asset prices melt up with panic buying. So this is exactly what happened in 2019 before the huge run up when people were debating an everything bubble. So in a melt up scenario, high growth AI infra names will lead the pack. Nvidia will benefit from the supply side. Palantir will benefit from the software side, especially with lower rates incentivizing companies to spend more on improvements. And Nebius really will benefit from every part of the AI funnel with their full stack, I think. I mean, Nebius is high growth, high beta, high demand, high capex, it's levered to liquidity. These macro factors are all incredibly bullish signals here. And speaking of Nebius, we did get some updates you might have missed. So we got an updated price target from a Ret Research. They just updated their target from $184 to $211. So let's think about that for a second. Nebius is currently sitting in the $100 range, yet all these firms are increasing their targets. It's not very typical for a stock that is down about 25% from their all-time high from just 2 months ago. So, I'm constantly looking for opportunities in the market, and in my opinion, this is still the best play out there. So, I'm glad that the quote unquote experts on Wall Street agree with me here and feed my confirmation bias. Also, we did get an announcement for Nebius' own subsidiary AVride. Uber just announced that Dallas riders can now be matched with an AVride robotaxi, unlocking a brand new way to ride with Uber. So the service will be available throughout 9 square miles of Dallas with plans to expand the operating territory in the future. So, by the way, if anybody is in Dallas and gets one of these Ubers, let me know. I'll have plenty of questions for you. And all right, last but not least, CBO Roman Chernin was on the Beginner's Guide to AI podcast. He gave some fresh insight on two areas that I think matter a lot for the future of Nebius: the new token factory and how customers and demand are evolving across the US and Europe. So let's start with the token factory. So Roman explained that most mid-sized companies do not actually need to build their own giant LLM from scratch. What they really need is a specific solution. And that could be a support bot for their customers, an internal assistant for employees, a vertical AI app tailored to their own data and workflows. And this is exactly where Token Factory comes in. It's a platform that lets a customer come in with a use case and requirements and not really with infra details. So, for example, they could come to Nebius and say, hey, we want a customer support bot. We have these internal documents and data, and we care about X latency and Y cost per request with Z quality level. So according to Roman, inside the token factory, the flows will look like this. The customer either picks a model or Nebius helps them pick. That can be a frontier open source or open weights model, so not just a closed API. Token factory then spins up a dedicated endpoint for that customer. This endpoint behaves like a standard API that you can plug your app into. And then importantly, it is OpenAI API compatible. So you can prototype on OpenAI and then migrate to Nebius with minimal changes in your code. So I think there's going to be a lot of demand for this. Roman explained that Token Factory is built to manage the real trade offs companies face when deploying AI at scale. So some customers prioritize latency for live interactions like support and sales, while others might prioritize throughput and cost for large batch workloads. I think the difference here is that Token Factory lets users optimize across these dimensions by really choosing smaller, efficient models or combining maybe multiple cheaper models to achieve really near frontier quality at lower costs. So Roman stated that Nebius provides solution architects and white glove support to help customers launch, scale, and optimize their models while meeting performance, cost, and compliance requirements. So really the takeaway here is that Token Factory transforms Nebius from a bare metal data center play into a fully managed OpenAI compatible endpoint for customized AI applications built on open source models. So this will be huge for small companies who want to take advantage of AI, in my opinion. And also, Roman gave a very clear picture on where Nebius is actually seeing demand today. So obviously, although the company is headquartered in Europe with data centers across the continent, the reality is that the US market dominates. So it's funny because they initially expected Europe to be their core market, but they quickly realized that US companies move far faster and operate at a larger scale. So it's really just another argument confirming European bureaucracy is just a bottleneck for the entire region. In infrastructure, you must become large or you effectively do not exist. So that's one of the reasons he said that Nebius accelerated its US expansion. So even excluding the Microsoft deal, Roman said US customers are now the majority and many European clients actually require US capacity because their own customers are US based. So it kind of creates this feedback loop where Nebius pretty much just follows the demand. Then on customer adoption, he did highlight strong traction for Nebius in media, entertainment, e-commerce, robotics, smart cities, life sciences, where large models and high-performance inference directly create new value. So I think that's a very well diversified customer portfolio. But looking forward, he still sees huge potential in Europe, so not all hope is lost. The enterprise market is deep, and as traditional companies move from prototypes to real production workloads, Nebius's strength in compliance, GDPR, and data sovereignty can become an advantage for them. So I do think there really is tons of small and mid-sized European firms which can potentially utilize Nebius in the future and maybe help them step into the world of AI. So time will tell. But again, this was a great interview. So check it out on the Beginner's Guide to AI channel. All right, that's it for this week. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.